Out of all of the music videos that I've made, I feel like this is the one that most of you would be interested in, and that's mainly because of the gun sound effects. So this is the project file. It's one of the more simple arrangements, well, compositions that I've made in terms of layering, but all the complexity is happening with the gun sound effects. And that is what you see right here. This monstrosity of 36 mixer channels. I routed out each sound effect to its own channel so I could affect each one individually. I don't think I'm using all of this. I think there are some gaps. Yeah, these channels look like they have not been used. But for the most part, I'm using a lot of these tracks for something, and we're gonna have to go through each one of these channels. So we got we got a lot of explaining to do. But before we talk about this project, we need to talk about the origin of this track, which is right here. This is Cleaver. And this is a music video that I have posted on the main channel. I don't know if I'm going to unlist it later, but as of right now, you can watch the video. And I don't want to play through the whole thing since it's already out there and available. But I do want to talk about a few things that have made it into unregistered firearm and what didn't make the cut. So we'll go through this now. Okay, already I want to talk about this this sound that you hear, which let me I think this is it. So here's a funny thing. This is I think the same sound of my alarm. It sounds kind of like this. It's like using the same notes. So I thought that was funny, and then I put it in. And that also carries into the main track. This section sounds pretty much identical. Well, aside from like the gun sound effects. That's also like nearly identical, again without the gun sound effects. Okay, I'm pretty sure all of these sections here sound pretty similar to the final unregistered firearm track, but the difference is happening around this area. Yeah, starting about right here. Yeah, so this section gets completely cut from unregistered, I think. But this section, I like this part. So that eventually makes it to unregistered. And then we have the ending, which is also the same. So I kept it pretty similar. There is like an additional section. So this is using the first section and the third section. And on unregistered firearm, there's also an additional second middle section. So now let's get into the actual track. And we need to start off with the gun sound effects, since that's one of the key components. All of the drums are being sent to this FPC bus, this line right here. Let me pull this up on the mixer. There it is. So I'm using FPC. It's a bass plugin in FL Studio, and I have routed. This looks kind of stupid, but I have routed each gun sound effect to one of these pads, and then I could go into the piano roll, and they are all named, which is really nice. It's really convenient that it names everything when I use FPC. So let's go through each effect so you can hear them in isolation. Do know that each of these sound effects do have additional effects applied on top. So you're not going to hear like the raw file. Actually, you know what? I'm going to let you hear all the raw files. So let me select all of this and then turn off the plugins. Then we'll move back here. And here is the raw sound without any processing. Wait. No. Okay, I don't know how that sounds like that. Oh, it's the catch. Now I'll play all of them again with processing. So those were all the sounds with processing. And oh yeah, let me tell you about the sound effects. So I recorded these sound effects myself. I used the microphone that you're hearing right now, the Shure SM58. And I just got some guns and put them next to the mic and recorded them at various different distances. And I think you can see, I might have shown, yeah, I'll indicate that if it's close, far, or mid-range. Yeah, this is, wait. Oh yeah, the F and the C stand for far and close, and then medium. Then after recording all of these sound effects, oh yeah, context. I live in the US, so you can get access to guns. I mean, you there's a high chance you know someone with guns. So yeah, I just asked them if I could record it, and then here it is. I forgot what I was gonna talk. I was gonna say something before that, but yeah, these are the effects. Oh yeah, I remember. So then what I did was after recording the sound effects, I had to cut everything up, and then I have them all in a folder right now. And then I went through each of the sounds and picked my favorites and then turned them into this. So I did know that I would need stuff like kicks, snares, toms, hats. So when I was selecting the sounds, I was trying to see which one would work best for, like, let's say a crash. I would need something with a bit more high end to it. Or if I need a kick, I need something that's a bit more bassy. Though one big problem is that nearly all of these effects are using the like high mids to like treble frequencies. So I had to do a lot of sound designing in order to get something low. So you'll see what I mean when we actually go through each of these channels, and you'll see how much processing is going through all of this to make it sound the way it is. Some of these things have zero processing at all because they just sound good. Like the Mosin Nagant bolt. If you don't know, this is a bolt action rifle. The way that it works is the bolt goes up, it pulls back, it pushes forward, and then it pulls back down. And then this is represented by these four sound effects. And I think there's zero processing aside from panning. So I'll play these in quick succession so you can hear what an actual Mosin bolt sounds like. So yeah, if you just pretend that was all in mono and centered, then that would be what a most nagant sounds like. So I think we should go into each of these individual tracks now. Over here, so again, this is the like 36 channel mixer. The actual instruments are back here. I didn't have to use that much since it's pretty simple. Just some synths, bass, and then this. So I don't remember what I did. All I know is that I needed like a certain sound and I just started throwing stuff onto the track until it sounded good. So starting with the bus, let's see what I did. Okay, so I think there's like some compression going on right here. That's what this means in case something goes a bit too high. And I think that's about it. The kick sound. Hold on, I need to pull this up so we can see what I'm... All right, so this is the kick. We have another set of Maximus that is a compressor. Okay, this is gonna get messy. There's a lot of effects. Oh. Yeah, it's doing something if I do too much. I'm gonna try to be brief because we have so many channels to go through. Then we have an EQ, and this is where the bass sound is coming from. I'm just boosting this bass frequency until it sounds like a bass drum. We have some distortion here. We have yet another distortion here. And we have, looks like I wanted to raise some of the high end. So that's with effects, without effects. Tom. Let's see, we got compressor, EQ, saturator, another EQ. Toms usually have some sort of fundamental, so that's why I boosted. There's this massive boost right here, so that fundamental would be more pronounced. We have some saturation. I don't exactly know what it's doing, but then we have another end EQ that's like doing a little bit of cuts. So after, before. Another tom. Oh, we have two toms. They are using the same exact signal chain. This third tom is also using same exact signal chain. I'll play these with and without processing again so you can hear. Sounds really quiet. So the compressor is doing a lot of work to make that sound a bit louder. I have the claps. Oh yeah, I should probably talk about what these sounds are. Mag insert close. So this is just me putting like a polymer magazine into, or a plastic magazine into the AR-15. This, I think I just tapped the magazine on the floor, wooden floor. Garand, rack front. Yeah, this is just me releasing the charging handle forward. Sounds pretty loud. And we got some EQ compressor and, oh, the sound goodizer. I use the sound goodizer a lot specifically for this project because it sound gooder. So yeah, it sound better. We also have some basic reverb without processing. You can hear it sounds a bit drier without the reverb, but it's not too different. The EQ, yeah, so I just wanted all of that high end, cut off all the lows. Bang. This is not a gunshot, by the way. You might have heard this, I think, right at the end of the first section into the second section. You'll hear like a... but this is not a gunshot hitting a metal plate. This is actually a trigger, and I think it's... hold on. What's it doing? Yep, it's going through another... Oh, it's going through a guitar amp. What? What the... Okay, yeah, it's just going through a guitar amp. And, oh, there's overdrive. Okay, yeah, that explains why. So I bypassed this amp. I think I bypassed the... Yeah, I bypassed the cabinet too. So basically, I'm only getting the overdrive pedal. And I don't think... Yeah, there's no delay reverb. It's only going through this overdrive pedal. And then, of course, another sound goodizer. Here, let's see how much this overdrive is doing. So disabling the overdrive. Oh yeah, that's doing so much. That's like adding that ping, since the overdrive pedal, I think, is adding like a lot of additional harmonics, and that's giving it that ping sound. And then with the sound goodizer, adding like compression and saturation, that's pushing it even further. We have a reverb, and then I think, yes, so there's a fundamental, I think. No, wait. No, okay, I can see the fundamentals, or like frequencies. I think it's these two right there. So, yeah, I didn't boost the low fundamental, since this is a pretty high sounding thing. And this is the trigger pull of the M1 Garand. This is a second bang. I think this is... Yeah, they're both being sent to this track. So, nothing more to say. Oh yeah, I like using this a lot. This is the safety, pushing it down on the AKM. And this is sent to snare actual, which, yep, we got compression, sound goodizer, and got this, another distortion. EQ, let's see what we're doing. Since this is a snare, we have another... Wait, hold on. No, this one. If you have a like good headset, or have like a subwoofer that can hear bass pretty well, you can probably feel the weight of this right here, of this low frequency, which I like. It sounds nice. Moving on to this snare. I really like how this snare sounded. I might actually reuse this signal chain for like future projects, because this sounds like a proper, like, I don't know, EDM kind of snare. It's got like, it just sounds nice. And yeah, 3 sound goodizers in a row. Oh my god. This, yeah, okay. Oh, that's funny. So, yeah, if one sound goodizer doesn't work, just put 2 more. So this is the Most Nagant trigger pull. This is a compressor. It's a pretty clean compressor that doesn't add like any like extra saturation. I think it's, yeah, it's for mastering, so it works. I like it. All the controls look nice, and everything is visualized pretty nicely. Super simple EQ, a little boost like where the fundamental would be. I think it's the snarey part is like happening around here. But then we also have that high end. So let's see what these sound goodizers are doing. I'll just turn all of them off. Yeah, this sounds so quiet. One more. Okay, it's getting a little louder. Okay, it's getting closer now. And now it sounds pretty full. Then we have a final EQ, which, yes, this is that fundamental that I was talking about. I even had to notch it down a little bit. This is how a snare should kind of look like. You got the fundamental, you got the high end, and then like a little dip in the mids. Oh yeah, at this time, I was still learning about sound design. Well, I had to learn a lot about sound design to do all of this, since I wasn't really familiar with using all of these. And I didn't really exactly understand like what the sound was doing, but it sounded good, so yeah, it works. Looks like these two are empty. We got a ride here, which is the catch, the magazine catch. So yeah, so it's the button on the left side of the gun that you press, and then that like chambers in a round, and it has like this little rattly sound to it. And it's getting like really emphasized with the sound good. Oh yeah, it's sound goodizer reverb, sound goodizer reverb. Let me play this without any processing. So yeah, you can even hear like a little bit of that rattliness that's like right happening about right here towards the tail end of it. And that just really gets emphasized with the sound goodizer and the reverb, which is sound goodizer again is like a compressor and saturation, and that's like bringing up the level of this tail so it's a bit louder, and then the reverb's also just adding more to it. We have a cut in the EQ. Let me hear it without this. I'm not actually sure what I was trying to cut with that sound, but I decided it was a good idea. The hat. This is another motion trigger. Oh yeah, so I found out that when I was recording, I didn't actually know much about acoustics, but if I recorded something closer to the microphone, then I was able to get more bass. But if I went farther away, it's like I put like a high pass filter on it, and only the like higher frequencies made it through. So that's why this trigger from far away, what's what the F means. This is why this works well for a hat, because the hats are usually like high frequencies. So let's see what's going on here. Again, EQ, sound goodizer, reverb. This is like the chain that's going to be used for a lot, because you can get a lot with these plugins. Let me turn it off, the processing. Yeah, this is a pretty clean, dry trigger pull. We have another hat. The safety of the AR-15. Yeah, this is the safety on the AR-15 is a lot snappier than the one on the AKM. Since the little switch is a lot tinier. It's got a really satisfying click to it. So here it is without processing. This was recorded from medium, so that's a lot of the high end is there. And let's see. Yep. I'll be super brief about this. I did a high pass cut and then a boost here. Moving on to the next one. Oh, this is a motion trigger. Oh. So these are both the same exact sound effects, but with different processing. Oh, you can also see I did also affect the attack, decay, sustain, ADSR. I don't want to go through and talk about each one I did. I suppose you could go back through the video and see like how I affected each one of these curves. So this one's longer. This one sounds a bit shorter, probably because of this ADSR that I did. But also, oh wow, yeah, we have another 3 chain of sound goodizers. Let me turn these off to see what we're getting. Yep, sounds quiet. We got a boost. Another boost. And again, more high pass. Wait, it's a high pass, right? Not a low pass. Yeah, I think it's called the high pass. The one where you only hear the highs. And then another high pass happening. More reverb. Crash. Oh, this is another catch, which, hold on. Ah, yes, there are 2 crashes. I mean, 2 catches. This was close. This is also close, but it's a different one. There are 2 transients that you can see here. This is super basic. We got some EQ, high pass, a little dip, and the sound goodizer. Here it is without processing. Yep, that sounds like an AR-15 catch. And you can hear like this rattliness on the tail end of the effect. And that gets emphasized even more with the Soundgodizer compression. So this is the first page. Second page. Oh, this looks... Oh, there's zero processing on this, except we have a little bit of panning to the right side. It's just the trigger on the AR-15. And then this also has no processing. It looks like all of these four have no processing on it, aside from panning. This is a shotgun, Mossberg 500, I think. It's interesting how these triggers have like different sounds. Again, oh yeah, these are pan to the right, so your right ear's gonna like that. Mosin trigger. Again, no processing. Yeah, both of these have no processing. And the Garand trigger. So yeah, I think it's kind of interesting how these different triggers sound different for these different guns. It looks like they sounded really good, that I didn't need to do anything to it. This is just the Garand back, the Garand front. We got some reverb. Yeah, these sounds already sound great. Yeah, both of these also have reverb attached. Yeah, they got reverb attached just to make it sound a little bit nicer. I'll play these two without processing. Well, without the reverb. It just adds a little bit. I don't even know if you could hear it in the mix. Then we have a ping. I don't think I use this ping in the actual track. I'll show you later what the actual grand ping is. I think I mainly put this in for composing purposes to see what would happen if I did mess around with the ping in certain drum patterns. Let's see. This is going through nothing because the grand ping already sounds great by itself. Then we have the AK rack back, and then a rack front. I think I use this a lot in the unregistered firearm track. Let's see, EQ, reverb, EQ. What are we doing here? A little cut, a little boost, and cutting off the low end. I'll play these without processing. Sounds a lot drier. Still sounds really good though. I think these, you hear this in No One Sleeps Tonight, this AK rack back, right when the animation ends and it heads into like the main section of the track. Turn these back on. This is the Glock 19 rack back and rack front. That might be familiar to some of you, since if you know what a Glock sounds like. So we have some... Oh, it's using like the same signal chain, but probably a little bit of edits to it. I'll play these without processing. Again, sounds a bit drier. That's mainly because of the EQ. I mean, not the EQ, the reverb. So I'll turn these back on. And then we have the Mosin effects that I talked about earlier. Oh, these have a bus with some EQ going on. And oh, there is zero processing happening on each of the individuals, but these are all being sent into a bus that has some EQ and reverb on. I did play these before. They are being panned in two different directions. I'll turn off the processing. Back on. It's subtle. I don't think you'd even notice like the reverb that I added within the context of the track, but it is there. And so yeah, that's all of the guns. And hold on, how long are we? This video is already like half an hour long, and we're just finished talking about the guns. But good thing is the rest of the track is really simple. So, oh wait, there's two more things. I will talk about them when we get there. Actually, fuck it. We'll talk about it right now. So, heading back to the composition, I have these two tracks right here for additional gun sound effects, and I don't know why I didn't put them into FPC. I think, oh wait, I think, okay, for this one, I think it's because the transient's a bit weird. Oh yeah, I should probably mention, each of these tracks in the, each of these gun sound effects have a minus delay on them. And that's mainly because if you look at the waveforms, the main transient is happening at a slightly different time. Like this one is way forward. And I want this main transient to synchronize with the beat. So I have to put a minus delay. So let's find this one. Like this one has an 89 millisecond minus delay. So it's going to play this 89 milliseconds faster. So this will be right on the beat. And going back to this shotgun sound, I don't know why I did not put this into FPC, but I'm assuming it's because of the transient. Here's what it sounds like in isolation. Then we have another one here. Oh, these are the same. And these are being routed to this shotgun track, which got Soundgoodizer. Yeah, the classics. So I'm going to turn this off and then play it, since we haven't done that yet. And now on. It's subtle. I don't... Wait, the Soundgoodizer is off. Oh, maybe I just accidentally turned it off and didn't... Wait, hold on, did I? Maybe I accidentally turned it off earlier. I feel like it was supposed to be on, because this sounds a bit... This sounds right. Hold on, let's hear it in concert. And without Soundgoodizer. Huh, I don't know. I made a copy of this project file and renamed it to this. So maybe I accidentally touched this control, or maybe I forgot to turn it on. But here is an additional thing, which is the actual garand ping that I use. Hold on, let me isolate this. There are two garand pings playing at the same time. So we have this one far, and this closer one. I don't know if you can tell the difference. This one has a bit more, well, mid-range and bass to it. This one's got a bit more high-end. So the idea was to combine both of them. I didn't align the transients though. I don't know why, but I'm assuming it's because it sounds a bit bigger when it's slightly offset. Yeah, I think it's because you hear like both transients like in a row, and that just kind of sounds bigger. It's like the transient's bigger or something like that. We also have this not Mosin, the shotgun. Oh, that's going through a lot of... Hold on, let me try and find the mixer track. It doesn't have a mixer track? What? There is no way... Oh, I think I know what I did. I think I rendered out this audio. So it was already getting processed, and then I just rendered out this clip specifically so I could use for like all this reverb. I think that's what I did. And then I think I reused all of these other yeah, I think it's this part is that like ride sounding cymbal-ish kind of sound, but reversed. Yeah. Then I think that happens again here. Amen break. Oh yeah, I'll explain why that is. And then over here we have the shotgun sound again, and I think they're all repeats. Again, we have the same garand sound effect. So you now know everything about the drums, and we can finally start talking about the actual track now. So this is using, it's almost the same as cleaver, except there's a new midsection, and the third section, the first part of the third section is a bit different because I didn't like the old one. So let's go through beginning to end. All right, so we have this again, which is my like alarm sound. Let's talk about like everything that you're hearing right at the beginning. So this stab, close FPC, we have this, hold on, let me switch to all. And we have, oh, it's a sound font. I don't know why I'm using a sound font, but instead of like an actual synthesizer, because I just could have just used a synthesizer. Yep, we got auto pan, and we have archetype Petrucci again with no amp, no cabinet. What am I using here? No, what? It's going through nothing. Yeah, everything's off. There's a boost here by 1.2 dB, but I don't think, yeah, everything looks off. I think I just put it there and just forgot to put it away. So yeah, the only effect here is the auto pan. And now the bass. Ah, yes. Omni bass. Oh, don't crash. Okay, good. It didn't crash. Okay. Kontakt likes to, sometimes some plugins, it gets a little weird. So we're using Omni bass again. And here are the settings. I already talked about Omni bass in the other videos, but let's take a look at the what? Wait, what? Okay, it's routed to the effects track for some reason. Is that a mistake? I don't think so. I think I just decided to put it there. And we have, hold on. Ah, yes. Let's talk about the actual drum patterns that I use, since these are not conventional drum patterns. So I'll go through each one. And I muted everything. Hold on. In isolation. Oh wait, I forgot that this I have to keep this effects track open too, because this has an additional effect. And now we're moving on to the next section where this synth comes in. So there's actually two synths being played in this line. I think I just combined it into this pattern. Yeah, okay. So back to the mixer. Let me find it. Okay, here it is. So we're using Surge XT again, this is a pretty simple saw-ish wave. And then for the second section, it should be nearly yeah, it's like the identical. It's identical. It's just another saw wave. And that's going into a little bit of EQ. Pretty simple high, low end cut. And then we have the harmony, which I'm assuming is the same thing. And looking into this pattern, yep, it looks like I have this on one channel, and then it swaps to the harmony channel afterwards. And then down here we have the chords, but they're all muted, so I can just take a look at them. And then the whole thing sounds like this. And there we got that garand ping right at the end. Let's take a look at this this pattern that I used. I really like using this most in the garand. It sounds cool. It just sounds like a most in the garand. Now, moving on to the next section, which is, I call this the V1. So we have a few new elements introduced here. First, we have this. This is another Surge XT preset that I found. I'm not even going to open it up because I don't think there's any processing going on. But what this is doing is it's just reinforcing this lead. You might be able to hear it. It's pretty faint, but it is there, and it's acting as some nice reinforcement. Here's also the harmony that's being played. And we also have this automation that's happening with the synth. And I'll open up the Surge XT so you can see what is going on with the lead, because it's affecting the sound a little bit. So I think this width is getting modified. Yes. So when it's down here, it sounds a bit rounder. And when it's up here, it sounds a bit sharper. And if we go back here, the automation, this is lower, and this is, so it's rounder. Up here is sharper. So I'll play this in isolation with the harmony, with the fundamental, and so you can hear like exactly what's going on here. Mainly why I did this automation, because it just added a little something extra. You could hear that even got a little wacky here, but I just liked how it sounded, so I kept it. Now moving on to the bass. We have a synth bass now playing that's reinforcing the omni bass. And both together. And only the omni bass. So there's something going on right here. I'm messing around with the articulations now. So there is like a dead note. Let me isolate this. We have a dead note and we have a slide going down. And these are being triggered by these, trigger notes down here. Other than that, the bass is pretty simple. It's just outlining the chords, and we got some octaves. I think there's something else happening here. Yeah, another dead note. And the drums are... This is... there's a lot going on here. Yeah, so that was that bang sound that I was talking about earlier, the transition from V1 into V2. So we got more Mosin runs here. Also, I played all of these racks at the same time. Sounds massive. Well, ish. Relatively. And we also got this down here, which is just another synth. I think the sustain is like lower, which is why it like tails off. And then we got this cymbal sound moving into the next section. And now we're in the intro for V2. New bass pattern. Okay, so we got a lot of new things happening here. So these main synths disappear and they get replaced with something else. The bass, super simple. Got the drums starting off really slow, so I'll start off right here. And then we have this piano section, I think. Wait. Oh, the bass is down here. So playing a super simple chord progression, and this piano bass is reinforcing the omni bass that is being played. And also the synth bass is being turned off here. Oh yeah, I want to talk about the why the bass is being reinforced. And this is something that I would learn later that is kind of like multiband distortion, where you have a clean bass where you split the frequencies of like a bass into a high end and the low end, And the low end, you keep it clean, but the high end, you distort it. And the reason why you do that instead of distorting the whole signal is so, well, distorting low end sounds really fuzzy. And it just doesn't sound that great. So by splitting up the frequencies and only distorting the high end, it sounds a lot nicer. You get the distortion part with the clarity of the fundamental bass note. And that's kind of what I'm doing here. I like this sound, and I would learn to like it, why I liked it later. Learning how to do like metal, like why a metal bass sounds the way it is, and like learning from all like the mixing tips that Adam Getgood did. I looked at so many tutorials from him. I he's really good at engineering, and I like how his tracks sound. So I just learned from the tutorials that he's put out. Anyways, there we have a new section down here. Sequencer. So moving back to here, where is it? Ah, yes, we're using this plugin, Citrus again. Found a preset that I like, and yeah, stacking the chords like that makes it arpeggiate between all of these notes. Let me turn the bass and this off, so I want to see what this sounds like. And that repeats. And then moving on to the actual V2 section. Hold on, let me turn everything on. Oh, wait. So we got some new elements being introduced. One of them is this synth. So let's try and find this in the mixer. Ah, the plucks. I really like how these sound. They sound really chill and not harsh at all, since they're sine waves with like really low sustain. Oh. Okay. So, what is this? Yeah, we got like a saw synth that is supporting. And we also have, yeah, all these three playing together now. We also have this pad being introduced, which is yet again another Surge XT preset. I don't know what's going on. I just found it and it sounded nice. And we have this. Ah, an additional harmony being played. Oh, this is being octaved. And then we have the main, I think. And then this is the harmony. And now we have what I think is like the star of the track. So this section right here, this is my favorite section. And it's mainly because of this bass work that I did. So I'll play this thing isolated in full so you can hear what's going on. There's some triggers going down here and a lot of dead notes. Some of these are dead notes, which is something that you should know if you're trying to transcribe this. So I'm not actually playing some of the notes. Like this is a dead note right here. I'm not actually playing this A sharp 3. So here's the bass line. Wait. So this is a like 2 sections that repeats. I really like how this bass sounds. So before this, I was learning. I mean, I had a bass like the cheap $250 Squire PJ bass, and I was learning bass from that. And you just like when you learn bass, when you learn an instrument, you have an idea on how to compose it because you're like messing around with different patterns, seeing like how people do things. So that's how I wrote this line. I didn't actually write it with the bass. I just wrote it based off what I knew. And then I decided to try out this bass line on the bass, and it worked out really well. Well, I mean, in terms of like fingering and it making like being easy to play on a bass. Since, well, it's composed to sound like a bass line. I really like how this bass sounds. And since it just, when I listen to this track, I'm like mainly listening to the bass because this and the guns are what make this track for me. This is also being supported by the synth bass, which is so yeah, I already played that. And now we have the drums, the gun sound effects. And the reason why this amen break, here, actually, let me unmute this. I don't know if some of you noticed, but I tried to do the amen break with the drums here. Although, I mean, since I'm not using real drums, I don't know if some of you would have noticed because it doesn't sound like quite like the amen break, since it's, I mean, you're using guns here. And that repeats. And we got the sequencer again. I want to hear this without bass or the drums, just to see what this sounds like with all of the melodic information. Well, let me adjust this. So after I completed composing V2, I started to not know what to do for V3. So, I mean, this final section, it's all right. I like this one way better. I like and the first one better. This one turned out all right. I did change here, let's we'll play through it first. We'll play through the intro. Let me turn all these back on. So let's see. Yeah, I'm automating it so it sounds a bit louder, and then it goes back up to here so it sounds sharper. We also have some EQ going on so it sounds like it's been low passed and then it goes back to normal. And yeah, this section, we can check the this drum section. This is where I start going with these fast hi-hat runs. And that's what this section was about. It's supposed to sound more like, I don't know what the term is for this kind of drum sound. I don't know what this type of beat is called. Is it like a trap beat or something? It sounds like more hip-hoppy with all these hi-hats and like this really fast rolls. So that was like the main idea behind like this drum pattern. And oh yeah, I didn't even play what this V3 in full sounds like, so I'll do that now. So the bass is super simple. It's just repeating this exact same pattern 6 times in a row. Although for the second pattern, for this for the actual V1 section and not the intro, some of the notes are just a bit longer. That's the only difference. That's why there's like an additional pattern here. And then the synths are supporting it. So yeah, here's the pattern. Super simple. Already showed you the drums, and then we also have this little synth stab. Oh, it's actually the pluck. It's really faint. I don't know if you would notice it in the track, but it adds something. I didn't talk about the melody yet. Well, what's going on here? I decided to put all of the lines into one pattern for some reason. Well, let's play it individually. Oh, it plays all of them at the same time since I put it in the one. Yeah, I don't really like putting everything in one pattern because of this, since it's a bit harder to show you them in isolation. So we got some call and response going on right about here. So we have this line going down and then this line also going down like an octave lower. And then there's also this one higher. And I think the fundamental is being played. Yeah, there's a fundamental line. It's being played a bit higher. Oh, the fundamental also has vibrato on it. Oh, I played these melody lines without the automation, so yeah, I'll let you hear with automation. And at the end, I left the fundamentals, so it has a ring to it at the end right here. And the note that you're looking out for is this one. It just sounds nice when this like ends right at the end and then transitions into the ending. So yeah, the ending is just the intro, but with less, I think a few less, or maybe it's the exact same as the intro in terms of instrumentation. So yeah, this is Unregistered Firearm. Compositionally, the arrangement, pretty simple. But the complexity is coming from all of the gun sound effects. And wait a minute. Let's take a look at some of the muted tracks that I have, since I think these were me composing. Let's see if anything changed. It does sound a little different. I mean, this ending is like missing like the harmony line, but this start is a little different than what actually happens in the track. So this one. Oh, that's a little different note. That's how it is in the actual one. I think this is V2. What else we got? This one didn't make it in. Oh, wrong one. Huh. I feel like that would have made it in. What else we got left over? I think that's about it. I do have this extra stuff that's just sitting out here. I don't exactly know what it was. I think, oh, bridge section now. Pretty sure this got cut. Oh, okay, interesting. Counterpoint didn't actually make it into the final thing. What is this? Okay, and then the end continues as normal. This is different. This is another iteration. This actually sounds kind of cool. I think if I had the right harmony to it, it would have sounded nice. I don't know why I didn't use this one, because in the final track, I didn't actually like the intro. I mean, it's all right. It's better than the cleaver version. I'm talking about this part right here. That goes to right here. No, wait, to right here. Right now. No. These 4 bars are the part that I was talking about where it's like, it sounds all right. This actually sounds kind of cool. Well, let me play that again. Wait. This part could use some work though. I don't really like this, how this sounds. Let's see what else we got. What's M? What does M mean? Oh, this is the old version of cleaver. What's this drum? Oh, I think this is someone else's drum pattern. I don't know who it is, where it came from, but this doesn't sound like something that I would have written. Maybe this was the inspiration for V3 with like the trap beat. So yeah, this is Unregistered Firearm. I think I already said like the outro for this video. So yeah. Bye.